From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, God.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. The evidence continues to mount. The empirical evidence that proves that what I say to you is true. As you know, your genial host has expressed a number of opinions on this program about a variety of issues, largely based on his, and he's speaking about himself in the third person right now, largely based on his wealth of life experience. Oftentimes, your genial host doesn't necessarily have any scientific evidence to back him up, just a lot of experience. But as you know, frequently on this program, yours truly, and you know who he is scanning the globe, trying to find scientific evidence that bears him out, that guy who hosts the show. Oh, that's me, that's right. And here, this from the London Daily Mail, a newspaper I saw many times when I was in London, because it's a tabloid, and it had short, punchy articles that are perfect for my impatient mind. This from the London Daily Mail. All you happily married couples and all you engaged people out there, take note. Married couples are at their greatest risk of divorcing just before their, get this, 5th anniversary, it is claimed. A study suggests that we tire of our partners far sooner than we did in the 50s, when the danger point was known as the 7-year itch. 5 decades on, more women are pursuing careers, which can place extra stress on a relationship, and divorce has become increasingly acceptable. The findings emerged in a study of divorce trends in the United States, Scandinavian countries, and in Russia. Experts believe they will also apply to Britain, which has gone through many of the same social changes. Researchers found that the so-called honeymoon period for newlyweds lasts less than 5 years. Doesn't this sound like fun? All you people who think you're in love and you're different, all you people who call in here and tell me you're the exception to the rule. Says here, disillusionment and disaffection often sets in now by the end of the 5-year period. It says here there is an added incentive to battle through this period, however. The study showed that those who manage to make it to 10 years are likely to remain married for good. Yeah, but that's because if you stayed married for 10 years, it's because you can stand to be with the other person. I don't think it's because you battled through hard times. I think it's because you've been having a good time. You're just going to keep the party going. There's less and less people like that. Now I'm going to read a name of a person. This is a German name, so it's Iva Jasilianoniene. I think I got it right. An academic specializing in marriage and cohabitation studies helped produce the report for the Max Planck Institute, as in walk the plank, yes. The Max Planck Institute in Rostock, Germany. How appropriate for those of you getting married. Anyone walking the plank might want to check with the Max Planck Institute. She said, crisis point for the modern marriage is arriving sooner. One of the explanations for these changes in divorce risk is that during the first decade of marriage, both partners go through crucial life course transitions and challenging experiences. Completion of education, building a career, bearing children, and so on. During the later years, the couple have developed strategies to deal with problems as they arise. The decision to remain together, they say, could have a more practical basis, however. Researchers found that after the 5-year point of marriage, couples are increasingly deterred from parting by the cost of divorce and of running separate lives. The findings are likely to shed new light on the state of marriage in Britain, which is at the center of a growing political argument. The Tory party is proposing tax breaks for married couples who tend to stay together longer than cohabiting couples and whose children tend to be healthier, do better at school, and go on to better jobs than children from broken or single-parent families. Other results suggest that those who marry at a younger age are more likely to divorce. We've been telling you about that. This could help explain Britain's falling divorce rate. In Britain, wow, this is way older than the United States. In Britain, women marry at 33 on average. It's 25 in the United States, folks. Men, average age of marriage, 36. Very nice. Each of these are 3 years older than the average a decade ago. And at the same rate, at the same time the divorce rate is falling, last year the rate fell to 12.2 for every 1,000 couples, the lowest since 1984. According to the Office for National Statistics in England, the total number of divorces in 2006, 132,418, is the lowest since 1977. Yeah. And that's probably because people who just would not be happily married probably are not feeling the pressure to get married. Less bad marriages, less divorces. I mean, if people followed my rules of thumb, there'd be even less divorces. But as you see, it now takes only 5 years. People get tired of the people they're with. 5 years. Average, 5 years. Which brings me back to my question always. Why bother doing it in the first place? The risk, the costs, the stress, the distraction in your life. Do you really need it? Especially if somebody's going to bolt in 5 years and take half of everything you own. You tell me.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom, I have big, beautiful breasts, and I will use them every chance I get.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Well, a study now says what was called the 7-year itch is now the 5-year itch. That's right. People become disenchanted with their partners by their 5th anniversary. Why even get married? This goes back to that show we did about starter marriages. What do you mean a starter marriage? If it isn't going to last, why do it? Why do it? You tell me. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Katie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Katie.
I called because I'm a biology student in college right now, and I took a psychology class, and in my textbook, it was saying that 4 years is the mark between, when couples usually get divorced. And it's because in the first couple years of a relationship, there's a certain chemical in your brain associated with, first love and excitement and stuff like that. And then, it starts going down the levels of the chemical, and then people divorce at 4 years. But if you go past the 4 years, there's a completely different chemical in your brain that makes you stay together longer. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just wanted to let you know, I don't really remember the chemicals right now, but I read it in my textbook.
So now, will you get married?
Well, I?
Yes.
Maybe eventually, yeah.
Why?
Right now.
Why?
Because I think that I might be able to make it past that point if I really committed to it.
Everybody believes that.
I don't know. I'm not thinking about it right now, that's for sure.
Well, that part is good, dear, but you're only 20 years old, of course. But what happens when you're, 25?
I'll probably still be in school, so...
Really? What are you studying?
Well, I'm biology right now. I'm going to apply to transfer to UCLA for pre-med.
Good for you. So are you going to become a doctor?
I want to, yeah. I'm actually just starting to volunteer at a hospital right now.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good luck on that, but no point getting married. What's the point? Well, for you, you might get a few bucks out of it.
Yeah, well, most likely I would be making more money, so...
What do you mean most likely be making more money?
Well, if I'm a doctor and I get married to somebody else, it probably wouldn't be another doctor, so I'd probably be the one making more money.
Really?
That's what I think, yeah.
Dean thinks you must be fat and fugly. That's what he's telling me.
Oh. No, actually, I'm breaking another one of your rules. I'm not too fat and fugly. I actually do have a kid already. So.
Oh, there we go. Something spelled wrong. Dean was right to sniff it out.
Hello?
Yeah, that was me. I was sniffing it out.
Yep.
By the way, this microphone has a certain stank about it. I just noticed when I started sniffing.
Yeah, well, it's not stopping me from doing what I plan to do, so.
And when did you get knocked up, dear?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And why'd you do that?
Because I didn't know what I was doing, and I made the decision not to get rid of it. So
is that why you're studying biology? You're hoping to learn more about this?
No.
I mean, you did know about birth control 2 years ago, right?
Somewhat, yeah. A little bit. Not
somewhat?
Yeah, well, I knew, but I didn't have anybody there to actually tell me more about it and be there for me if I actually needed it.
How much do you need somebody to tell you about that stuff? You were an adult 2 years ago, dear.
Actually, I got pregnant when I was 17.
17?
Yeah.
And you hadn't read any, brochures, hadn't taken any health classes in school, hadn't heard about Planned Parenthood?
Kind of on the side, but not really taking it into consideration.
Because you didn't care if you had a kid or not. It was okay with you.
I didn't think about having a kid.
But it was okay if it happened.
I didn't think about it at all.
When you're 16 or 17, wouldn't you be worried that you might have a kid? Did you not know pregnancy is a risk when you have sex?
Yeah, but it didn't cross my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Having sex crossed your mind, though?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Unbelievable. Well, good luck making your way through school. Who takes care of the crumb cruncher while you're busy going to school?
Well, I get my child care paid for because I don't work, but...
Who pays for it?
There's an organization where if you're training for work or if you're going to school full-time, they'll pay for your child care. It's like a state-funded thing.
Oh, so in other words, I'm paying for it.
Yeah, everybody is.
Thanks a lot.
Well, it's not raising taxes, so...
Of course it is. Where do you think that money's coming from?
But it's not me doing it. It's somebody else making that decision.
Well, darling, it's because a number of irresponsible people like you all do the same irresponsible thing.
Yeah, well, when I'm a doctor, I will be paying the same taxes, probably a lot more than...
And you know what? Then you'll understand how those of us who pay taxes feel about people like you who do that kind of thing.
Yeah, probably.
But right now, it's free. I get free child care. It's free.
Yep.
Great. Thank you, dear.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate the call. I get free child care. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not raising taxes or anything. It's just a state-funded thing. Oh, God. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. In case you're just tuning in, a new survey says that the 7-year itch is not the 7-year itch anymore. 7-year itch referred to, you know, people getting bored with their marriages at the 7-year mark, the 7th anniversary. No, that's been reduced now down to the 5th anniversary. It's the 5-year itch now. If that's the case, why bother getting married, right? 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Here comes Sean on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, what's going on?
Not much.
Hey, I know that chemical that keeps you happy during marriage for the first 5 years.
What is that?
It's called alcohol. And when that girl's done coloring in her textbook, she's got to throw it out.
Well, that, by the way, goes along with, you know which dessert causes the most weight gain, right?
What's that?
Wedding cake.
There you go. Take me out old school.
Here you go, Sean. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. The 7-year itch is now the 5-year itch. It now takes people only 5 years to get bored with being married. 5 years to get bored with that companion. Oh, we're so in love, Tom, and we're so different from everybody else because we love each other. Not like the usual couples, the people who don't take marriage seriously. We take marriage seriously. And because we take marriage seriously, we're going to be together long after all the other people get divorced because we're not like everybody else. We love each other deeply, sincerely. Right. The average is 5 years now. If it only takes 5 years to get bored, why not just date for 5 years? In fact, a long time ago, I suggested something, and some of you longtime listeners may remember this. I suggested if you insist on getting married, date somebody for 5 years first. Don't have a baby for 5 years, I've said many times. Now, I just based that on life experience. I didn't have any empirical evidence, but think about it. When you look at the evidence now, that advice made sense. Why get married right away? Why not wait 5 years? If the other person can't wait 5 years, they probably don't love you anyway. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Sharon on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, I'm a 29-year-old female from Southern California, and I've never been married, but I do believe in it. My parents are both in their 80s and have been married since my mother was 18.
Wait, you're how old?
I'm 29. I was adopted.
And you're adopted. I was wondering, How old was your mother when she had you? 60?
Probably. No, my mom and dad have been married, I guess now, nearly 60 years. And, you know, they've stuck it out a lot of times.
But that's because they got married 60 years ago when life was very different than it is today.
Yeah, it was extremely different. But, you know, there are a lot of ups and downs, and I think a lot of reasons people do get divorced today is because of the economy.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all because, in fact, darling, 60 years they were coming out of the Great Depression. They were like just past World War II 60 years ago.
Yeah, that's true, people were different also back then. They could handle it. They were raised differently.
No, darling, no, you're wrong. 60 years ago, there was a stigma to getting divorced, and it was hard to get a divorce, especially if you were Catholic and you wanted to get an annulment, which you had to get.
Yeah, but people were also raised very differently 60 years ago.
Many people stayed together. Many people stayed together through domestic violence. They stayed together through verbal abuse. And by the way, are you aware that it wasn't until the 1970s that we had laws against what we now call marital rape? Do you know when your grandmother and grandfather got married, that any time your grandfather wanted sex, he was entitled to it, even if your grandmother didn't want to give it up.
Oh, yeah.
And you could call the cops, you could do whatever you wanted to. Nothing could be done about it. Many people stayed together because of the laws and because of the stigma of divorce. Not because people were better people back then or they had nicer people. They also didn't have MySpace, Facebook, text messaging, email, women working outside the home where they would get picked up by other guys in the office. There were a million things going on today that were not going on 60 years ago.
Exactly. Stay-at-home moms who were there to raise the children, and the husband went out and worked and earned the bacon and brought it home.
Well, don't be so sure that you are going to do any better than the other nudniks out there who insist on getting married.
No, that's why I decided to wait until I felt I was completely ready. And so until I found someone that was compatible with me, and I was...
But what makes you think it will last?
I just have to have hope and faith.
Oh, please. I have hope and faith that Santa Claus is coming down my chimney on December 24th.
Well, come on. I think all little kids have that hope and faith.
Oh, that's my point, dear. Having hope and faith doesn't make it so.
Yeah, it's true. It's a lot of work.
But it's beyond that, dear. There's many things you don't control.
They didn't have it wrong. No, but it's hard work and loving one another.
You can work as much as you want. If the other person gets bored with you or has an affair, it doesn't matter how hard you worked.
True. Well, I guess.
You guess? That's a fact.
That's why people shouldn't jump into
Darling,
marriage.
it doesn't matter if you take
today.
forever to get in. The bottom line is that nowadays people have other options, and they're easily gotten.
Well, maybe not.
You know, you know how many guys? You know how many guys I've talked to?
Grass isn't always greener on the other side.
But the problem is, people climb over the fence and fall into the weeds before they find that out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By that time, it's too late. Do you know how many guys who've called this show and told me their wives got onto classmates.com?
What?
Their wives logged on to a website called classmates.com. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I think I have.
It's a website where people who went to the same high school, they can all log on and keep in touch with each other. And there are women who get on classmates.com. Oh, I just want to keep up with all my friends from high school. Their friends are all the friends who had penises. All the guys they never hooked up with, or maybe they had hooked up with them and hadn't heard from them in a long time.
Yeah, well...
And so many of these guys who called the show were faithful, they were in love, and they were practically crying on the air when they told me that their wives were flying back, and it wasn't even a high school reunion. They were flying back home somewhere to hook up with somebody from classmates.com.
You're telling the truth.
Dear.
Because I've heard of guys doing the same exact thing.
I'm not saying guys don't do it. I'm saying mostly guys call this show.
Okay.
I would say anybody who gets on classmates.com is generally looking to hook up.
I'd say generally anyone getting on the Internet is looking to hook up.
No, I don't agree with that. There are specific places people go. MySpace, classmates.com. My opinion is that people want to hook up. That's why they do that. Yeah. Because everybody I know from high school who I wanted to stay in touch with, I've got their phone number.
There you go.
Anyone I didn't want to stay in touch with, I didn't.
Yeah.
Why do I need classmates.com? You know why I would need classmates.com? Because if there were any hot chicks in my class that I didn't get around to hooking up with, back before I was a multimillionaire, I could scoop those up.
Oh, your poor wife.
I'm not married, dear.
Oh, okay. Well,
by design.
Huh?
I'm not married. It's by design.
Okay.
I have not been looking to get married.
Okay.
And I am not married.
Well, neither am I. And that's one reason
But
I'm
I'm
not,
telling you, you are living in a dream world. If you think you're somehow going to be like your grandparents, or you think the guy you married is going to be something like your grandparents.
No, I don't. I have no grand delusion of that.
Where are you going, by the way?
Where am I going?
Why does your mouth keep leaving the phone?
It doesn't. It's my cell phone.
No, it isn't, baby. You're tuning around. You're talking to somebody else. You're doing something.
No, I was running errands for my mother and came home, and I'm on my cell phone.
But ever since I mentioned this, your mouth is staying on the phone now.
No. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have to lie to me, dear. You were doing something else. You were, like, looking around or doing something.
No, I walked in the house.
Why are you lying to me about this? You don't have to. Just tell me, yes, I was looking at the mail. I was watching TV. I was turning around. I put the phone down.
No, I'm not watching TV, but I walked in the house, told Mom that they didn't have what she wanted at the pet store.
Oh, my.
Yeah, at the pet store.
So, darling, you're planning on getting married. What do you look like?
I am 5'6" tall, brown hair, medium long length, green eyes that turn hazel. I wear glasses.
Weight?
About 185.
There
185, 200.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I actually got called out on being a listener of yours the other night.
Love it.
I was at a bar, and this girl comes up to me, start talking to her. She goes, "Don't you want to buy me a drink?" She goes, "Sweetie, I never buy a girl a drink until I bang her." She goes, "You're Tom Leykis listener, aren't you?" I go, "Yes, sir."
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. You've heard of the 7-Year Itch. There was a movie called The 7-Year Itch 40, 50 years ago. And it refers to the fact that after 7 years, on average, people get bored with their partners in marriage. Now, according to scientists, the 7-year itch has become a 5-year itch. People are bored with their partners after 5 years. Which goes back to what I've been telling you all along. Don't get married to someone until you've known them for 5 years. Don't have a baby with someone until you've been with them for 5 years. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And frankly, I think you shouldn't get married at all, but that's just me. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Kevin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, how you doing, Tom?
Great.
All right. I was actually just giving a call. A friend of mine introduced me to the show, and I just sort of listened to different people call in and sort of heard some similar events that's going on, and I wanted to tell you about my girlfriend and what my situation's like right now.
How old are you?
19.
And you have a girlfriend?
Yes, I do.
Strike one. Go ahead.
I've heard you say that before. She's 20 years old. We've actually been living together since we first started dating. Big strike two on that. Yeah, I agree. And it was just funny.
Well, if you agree, why do you do it?
Because it was funny the way it came about, the way we moved in. It wasn't like we planned it. It sort of happened in a way.
No. Nothing sort of happens. You make it happen.
Well, it was like my parents moved to another state, and her parents didn't want her to live, so we sort of teamed up and made us both have a good roof over our head in a way.
Could have done that with a roommate, son.
Yeah, I figured that, too, later down the line. I could have got a good friend.
Right.
But anyway, things have just sort of changed as we've been together a little longer, and, you know, I smoke a lot of herb, or how shall I say, and, you know, she's sort of just chirping on that a whole lot, too, and just I feel like she's trying to change me, and I'm just caught in mix, and I just don't know what to do.
Well,
next.
If you've been listening to the show, you know that's what women do. You know it.
Yeah.
But you volunteered for this event. You volunteered for this gig.
Yeah, I guess you could basically say that.
Not basically. You volunteered for it.
Yeah.
So why are you still there?
Well, I mean, right now...
I love her!
Yeah, you could say that, too.
I'm in love!
I do, definitely.
Even though she's like mommy and tells me what to do and wants to change me, I love it!
No, that's not necessarily what happens. I mean, I stand my ground. I definitely do.
Yeah, but why should you have to fight about this?
I know, that's the problem. I'm sort of confused on what might be the best solution for me.
Get out!
I mean, yeah, right now we are. We're in 2 different locations.
Perfect. Keep it that way.
And yeah, I was thinking that's probably going to be the best bet for me.
And stop moving people into your home.
Okay, I definitely see that.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
By the way, you spoke to her before she met you.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was perfectly okay with her back then, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Yeah. But once she got what she wanted, now you get the real personality. You get the real her.
Yeah.
And this is what she's really like. She's a controlling, nut-busting bitch.
Yeah, sometimes it reminds me of the mother, too.
That's my point.
That's the scariest part.
That's why you moved in with her, because you wanted mommy to move in with you.
think. I think you might have been right on that one.
Right. Now it's time to grow up like a real man and live on your own.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that.
So where is she living now?
With mother?
Perfect. That's where she belongs.
Yep, I figured that too because that's where some of the differences occur.
And now that you've got your own place, now you don't have to worry about evicting her. I mean, this is the opportunity. You need to grab it.
Yeah, that's very true. That is true. That is true.
By the way, you also told Dean something else about her. What was it?
What was that? What did I say?
What does she think of your friends, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, she thinks they're all horrible, too.
There we go. Why would you even tolerate that?
I don't know. I mean, I try to make it work between the whole environment. Like when I have friends.
Why?
I don't know. I guess, you know. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
You busy over there?
No, I'm actually at my job. That's why.
Oh, okay.
The boss was just asking me something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, she, will rag on my buddies as well and thinks they're horrible folks whenever I bring them over. And it's like, I'm like, babe, I'm going to have some friends over. And I hate to feel skeptical about it at my house.
Come on, babe. These are my friends. Come on, babe. These are all my good friends, babe. You can't make me throw them out, babe.
Oh, I know.
Come on, sweetie. Please. Can I have my friends over, please, mommy? Babe, please.
Oh, God. Well, I definitely appreciate the advice, Tom. Definitely, it's useful, and it makes better sense. It makes me feel more reassured about what I was thinking about.
Change the locks.
Change the locks.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Well, no, because she's not the type to necessarily barge in on my privacy.
I don't care. Don't give her the chance to become that person.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It'll cost you a couple of bucks. Call the locksmith, have him rekey the locks.
Yeah. Right now we're keeping things at a small distance. That way we work around some of our small differences. So.
Yeah, well, keep her out of your house.
I definitely will.
Don't let her in.
I won't.
Hang on a second. Jeff, what did you want to say to Kevin here?
Hey, man, if you stop smoking so much weed and let your balls hit the sack, you'd be all right. The weed is not letting you see straight. And I can speak from experience because I've been married for 12 years. I married my best friend. She goes to strip clubs with me. She parties with me, likes football. You just have to man up. Let the nuts hit the sack, and you'll be all right.
You really think so? You really think the best bet is to just quit smoking?
Well, why smoke? I mean, what's it doing to you? What's it doing for you?
It's doing nothing.
Cost you money.
That's very true.
You know?
I
let people do what they do, but, if it's clouding your vision, it may be time to quit.
Yeah.
You're only 19, man. We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
They say life is short. Life ain't short. Life is long if you're with the wrong woman.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that.
So, yeah. Put the bong down, pick up a book. Knowledge is key.
Yeah, all right. I definitely appreciate that advice, and that's something I will put to use and apply to my life.
All right, man. Good looking out. Good looking out.
No, good looking out to you. I appreciate that.
All right, Tom. Peace out.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate the calls. Wow. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Robert on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
What's happening, Tom?
Not much, Robert.
Well, you know what? I just called in to let everybody know that you are 110% correct on this 5-year itch thing. I'm 29 now, but I got married when I was 21, and this was before I found your show, or I would have never gotten married if I knew what I knew now. But I was thinking back on it, and the first time that I cheated on my wife, who I'm now getting divorced from, was at 5 years. And I was just flat out bored with her. I was bored with every aspect of our relationship. And I hadn't known her for that long when I married her. And, got 5 years into it. Everything was boring. We had a kid together. And
why'd you do that?
Well, I was married. I was married, and I was finishing up medical school, going into a residency and everything. And I thought I had my life settled down and everything, and then...
it wasn't settled down. You were still going to school.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of my buddies that are, anesthesia residents also, and they had kids already.
That doesn't mean it's going to work out for them in the long run.
Well, I know. I'm finding that out. It's for a lot of them, probably more than half, that it's not going to work out in the long run. But I got into the disaster does get worse. I'm not done yet. I then decided I was going to start seeing somebody else, and we went out and got plastered one night, and she was a model from America's Next Top Model, hot chick. And I didn't end up using the glove, and now she's pregnant, and she doesn't know whose it is, if it's her husband that she's getting divorced from or if it's mine.
Oh, my God.
I'm in a disaster, man. And you know, I've already got 3 strikes 2 times over. You know?
What do you think this is going to do to your medical school?
Well, I'm done with medical school. I'm already in my residency, and I'm in the middle of a divorce, and I'm stressed out to the absolute max. So
sure you are.
It couldn't possibly get any worse. You know, I'm you know, I have to keep the focus on my patients.
You could do it again. Come on, you could knock another one up.
Oh, no. I'm done with this whole I'm done with my stupid ways. Now all I do is listen to your show and try and take every piece of advice in that I could possibly get. But God, did I make some stupid mistakes.
No doubt about it.
But anyway, yeah. See, you can take me out Kobe style?
Here you go, Robert.
Oh.
This is about us. She's so special to me. Yeah, it beats in my heart. Yeah, the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. It's Jody on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. It's Jody. I was wondering, I know you're totally against marriage. I agree. But what if you find that one person that you just have to be with, you don't want to let him or her out of your sight, but neither of you are ready to be married? What do you think about an open marriage where, yeah, you come home to each other at night, you do the married thing, but you still live your life?
Why do you need the married thing? What do you need that for?
Because you found the person that you just can't live without, but you know marriage isn't going to work. At least not now. When you're older, you'll have them by your side.
I don't believe in open marriages. I believe that you run the risk of killing your marriage if you meet somebody that's hotter and better than the person you're with.
But if you make the decision, because I've been in open relationships.
People make all kinds of decisions, and later on, you know what? There's no jail for people who make decisions and change their minds. You know, if you're impetuous, and most people are, look it up. The fact is that even if you said, well, I found the person I want, but I also want an open marriage. If you meet somebody who's way better, you just may upgrade.
Okay, I hadn't thought of it that way. Because I found someone, I don't want to let him go, but I don't want, you know, I'm only 21.
So why don't you just date him? Why don't you just date him?
Because I don't want to lose him.
But if you date him, you're not losing him.
But if he finds someone better.
Well, you might also.
Yeah, that's true.
You're free to find somebody better. You know, if he's the best, he'll still be there.
I hope so. Because he is. But well, I don't want, I don't want to tie him.
You know what you're saying here? You know what you're saying here? You want a hostage.
No, I want someone to come home to at night.
No, but the point is, if you have to worry about losing someone, so you have to put your thumb on the back of their neck and make them sign a contract, you've essentially signed them into slavery. You're holding them hostage. If you're that great to be with, you will not have to make him sign a contract.
Okay, Tom.
Do you see? No. Do you see what I'm saying, or what?
No, I see what you're saying, and I agree. Marriage isn't the way to go, especially being young. But, you know, the guy that I have now, he's asking, and I don't, you know.
He's asking what? He's asking you to get married?
Yes, and I've been trying to talk to him about if we get married, make it open, at least, you know, for X amount of years.
No, that doesn't work, dear.
No?
No, it doesn't. I mean, why don't you just have an open relationship where you'll date him primarily, but, you know, I know how women are. If you have an ex-boyfriend who calls you up, or a guy you went out with in high school, or a guy you went to college with, or, you know, somebody really hot when you're going out with the girls for, like, a weekend in Cancun or whatever, you're going to have sex with that guy. You're gonna. So why be bogus about it and sign a contract saying you won't do it when you probably will?
Well, that's why you make it open. You sign the contract, and then...
Why do you need the contract? What is the contract for God's sake? Our email address, Tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.